Later that night, the mean one pays a stop to Cindy's house, but is quickly scared away by an old Santa Claus looking fella who goes by the name of Dr. Seuss. Get it? Dr. Seuss? From the star of the Terrifier series, the writer of Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas, and the director of a Powerpuff Girls fan film, comes a horror spoof take on a Christmas classic. Join JoBlo Horror as we take you to Newville with The Mean One. Welcome to Horror Party Movies, my dudes, where we take a horror film, good or bad, and make a fun little game out of it. I'm Mike Conway, and today we're going to be celebrating a little Christmas fear with The Mean One, released in 2022. The Mean One follows Cindy You-Know-Who, who as a child witnesses her mother get murdered by a green monster in a Santa costume. Now, 20 years later, Cindy returns to her childhood home of Newville, a quiet little mountain town that doesn't decorate for Christmas. But soon, her mother's attacker returns to terrorize the town and ruin the holidays once again. With no one believing her, it is now up to Cindy to stop her childhood monster. So what type of party is the Mean One? Well, according to this scale, it looks like the Mean One may be a little bit drier than an overcooked roast beef. So pick your poison, whether it's a drink or a different type of Christmas tree, and have fun with it.
Got anything to drink?
And as always, I'll be showing you how to make a drink to tie along with the movie. And I'll show you that recipe right after these credits. Cheers, everyone.
As with any game, there are basic rules you must follow. Keeping in line with horror tropes, take a drink when someone drinks or does drugs, someone screams, when there is a jump scare, when a car won't start, when there's a clumsy escape, and finally, with any kill.
If you are more of an advanced partier, add these modifications to your list. When the fake Anthony Hopkins narrates, when the Mean One is mentioned, with any Dr. Seuss reference, and finally with any bad CGI.
If alcohol isn't your bag, there are plenty of other things to choose from. Cannabis, if legal in your state, Delta 8, 9, 10, or whatever the hell number they're at now. Caffeine, hot sauce, anything. Just know your tolerance. This is supposed to be fun. We don't want to send you to the hospital. Basically, don't be a dumbass. Here, read this disclaimer if that helps.
So, does this movie pretty much stand with the other horror films that are based off of children's tales? Does David Howard Thornton pretty much carry this film on his back like a giant sack of toys? Let's party and find out. The movie opens with probably some stock footage taken from Pond 5 of a lovely snowy town of Newville. Here we get a fun little narration from a not Anthony Hopkins reminding us the classic tale we all know. However, it is then revealed to us that story was a bunch of hooey, and the following story happened for real. As the fake Santa Claus steals some presents, little Cindy You-Know-Who sneaks down to take a peek. After she kindly gives him her necklace, Cindy's mom pops in and immediately beats the living shit out of him with a big-ass nutcracker. No questions asked.
Cindy, get back! He's a monster!
She gets knocked down and a very CGI needle pierces her in the throat, killing the mom in front of Cindy.
Monster!
Nearly 20 years go by and Cindy and her dad Dutch tilt their way back into the town of Newville. She hasn't been back since the death of her mom, but her therapist thinks it would be good for her to get some closure.
Library.
Yep, that's a library. Upon arrival, they get pulled over by the police. The dad then fixes himself up to look pretty for the officer.
Problem?
Turns out, there's a law in Newville that prohibits any Christmas decorations, including the decorations on the car. After a little flirtation,
He's cute.
he sends them on their way. And we also find out this little mountain town's in California. Later that night, when they arrive at their old house and are welcomed by a bat, Cindy's dad promises to rid her inner demons by adding some good old holiday cheer.
Cindy then goes to sleep where she has a nightmare of a very familiar looking hand reaching out to grab her. And before you ask yourself how this house is clean and completely furnished after 20 years, her dad busts in with a baseball bat like Dewey from Scream. Honestly, this was the first time I realized this was her dad. Up until this point, I thought he was a very old and creepy boyfriend. The next morning at a diner, we are introduced to Mayor McBean, who is up for re-election. Her name is a deep-cut reference from Sylvester McMonkey McBean from the Sneetches and Other Stories. And if you know that character, then there's a good chance this mayor could be McMean. The deputy, whose name we still don't know, comes in with the sheriff to chat with Cindy. Turns out the sheriff was on the scene the night her mother died.
He was green like this.
I mean, he looks like a normal dude to me, look. The dad then busts in the diner demanding to know why this is basically the Christmas version of the Footloose town because nothing is festive.
You're Jewish.
Was it the nose?
Dude, what the hell? So the dad takes it upon himself to holiday cheer his home up in a pretty cute sequence as they decorate. With those kind of dance moves, I wouldn't be surprised if he wore white New Balances and was a mean one on the grill. After Cindy takes out the trash, the door suddenly slams shut and locks. She thinks it's a joke at first until she sees her dad slammed on the glass. He is then stabbed through the back of the head and all the Christmas decorations disappear just as fast as they put them up.
Please don't leave me.
Don't worry, Cindy, he's not going anywhere. Now. She suddenly wakes up in the room of a hospital that's complete with a very, very real looking redfish and bluefish. The deputy tries to show up once again to get his Mac on while McBean rolls in to promote her election. They all assure Cindy that she's crazy and trying to stir up fears of the past like you do with any trauma patient. The deputy is now getting desperate and takes her home, but she tells him she's leaving town. This is also probably where the filmmakers realize they never mentioned his name.
Deputy Berge Goldman.
In realizing that he still doesn't have game, he gives us his best Billy impression from Scream.
Stupid.
Cindy then gets to staining the hardwood floors when she finds a rare flower that can be found in the Newville mountains, which sets her off on the quest to track down the killer. While taking photos with the camera this film was probably shot on, she ends up being a peeping Tom spying on a couple kissing under the mistletoe. What the couple doesn't realize is that a monster is standing just feet away from them. It attacks the couple and we finally get a good look at the titular character. When the police and the ambulance arrived, they asked the woman if she got a good look at her attacker. But just like Culkin and My Girl, she couldn't see without her glasses, only making the poor little Cindy look even more nuts. But does that stop her? Hell no. With the only comically blurry photos she has of the monster, she places flyers around town, which only upsets the mayor even more. Meanwhile, while all this is going on, a bus full of Santa bros pull into town and make a stop at the diner.
I think I'll take an iced tea.
However, their date rapey vibes are quickly cut short once the mean one shows up in the film's most entertaining scene. I just want to give major props to actor David Howard Thornton. His performance as the Grinch,
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Sorry, the mean one, is pretty impressive and very fun to watch. I only wish they gave him more dialogue to work with instead of being another silent killer, but I digress. Even though this diner serves no alcohol, crack open your beverage and party down to the high body count of the Santa Bros. Later that night, the mean one pays a stop to Cindy's house, but is quickly scared away by an old Santa Claus looking fella who goes by the name of Dr. Seuss. Get it? Dr. Seuss?
Got anything to drink?
The pair head up to the local bar where he gives Cindy the skinny on the monster.
He's a mean one, that Mr.
Bench! Last call for my bench!
Okay, that's cute. Cindy takes this info back to the cops and asks them to search the mountain for the mean one's lair, but since they have no jurisdiction of the federal land, they won't touch it. But does that stop Deputy Burke from checking it out? Oh, the places you'll go for love. Down in the lair, Burke finds the wallets from various missing persons from over the years and a cute reindeer plushie that starts playing a Christmas jingle. This alerts the mean one as he carries a fresh body inside his home. But that clever little cop gets one up on the monster and hides under a blanket until it goes away. After seeing the lair and having a run-in with Dr. Seuss, Burke meets up with Cindy to let her know that she isn't crazy, which makes her have a dream about him. Sure, why the hell not? They may as well go ahead and add a random sexy shower scene. Cindy decides enough is enough and opens up her Linda Hamilton book of kicking ass to prepare for her fight with the monster.
After her lengthy montage, Berge shows back up to show Cindy all the photos from the missing persons with the monster photobombing them all, and how they all visited a site from the Newville Mountains. Who is the site run by? The mean Mayor McBean.
You are gonna pay. Who are you gonna pay?
And pay she does, because while driving, her car randomly stops and blasts Christmas music, which sends the mean one her way to make sure that she stays ahead in the election polls. Turns out she and the sheriff were in cahoots when it came to the mean one. Ever see Willy's Wonderland? You know how the sheriff in that film lured people to the animatronics as sacrifices to stop a killing spree in the town? Yeah, same thing here. So Deputy Berge decides once again to head back to the mountain. Only this time, he intends to deliver the mean one his final present. However, he falls into the lair and gets caught in a bear trap. The sheriff's heart grows a few sizes and rescues his new deputy. He then decides that he himself is going to save the day. Ah, damn.
Time to roast this beast.
They all haul ass to Cindy's house where she turns on the Christmas lights. You know, the ones the mean one stole? Yeah, she got those back somehow. This lures him into her home where he sneaks up on her while she's sleeping on the couch. But surprise!
Merry Christmas, you green bitch!
A full-on battle ensues between Cindy and the mean one. And just as she's about to strike down on him, she sees the necklace she gave him when she was little. The mean one never intended to harm anyone. But after Cindy called him a monster, it changed him. She tells him he is forgiven for everything and gives him a kiss on the cheek. What happened next? Well, in Newville, they say the mean one's heart grew 3 sizes that day. In a pretty clever twist, this ends up making his heart explode, killing the
Bitch! Order from my fence!
The movie ends with the not-so-snowy town of Newville finally getting to celebrate Christmas. Berge finally gets the girl, and all is well.
Yahoo Dory.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that means. And that's it. The Mean One came out in 2022 and was just released on VOD to some pretty poor reviews. I know it sounds like I was probably dogging the film the whole time, but I can really think of worse ways you can spend your 90 minutes.
How to take care of those pesky memories.
Recently, director Steve Lamort went on to Facebook to say that the movie has been dreadfully review bombed by those who have not seen the film, and asked those who have seen the film to give it a really good review. Well, my friends, I have seen the movie 3 times for this video, so I'm gonna go ahead and do just that. And as our host began to leave his honest review, he felt something in his chest, something warm, something new. Maybe the rating, he thought, didn't have to be a 4. Maybe the rating, perhaps, can be a bit more. And then he himself, the host, turned to report, "Merry Christmas, Stevie Lamort!"